Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. How are you doing? My name is Amanda Ellis, and a warm welcome to my channel, whether you are new or whether you have been with me a while. So it's Saturday morning. It's the 13th of April. Have I already said that? I don't know. But what we're going to be doing today is having a look at the energies post the solar eclipse. But really, I'd like this video to stand the test of time. So it's one that you can come back to when you feel as though you need somebody to help you make sense of the energies post any portal or upgrade. Now, this doesn't have to be via an eclipse. It doesn't have to be through an event such as Lionsgate or 11/11 or Christmas or Easter or any other moment in time through our year's calendar. Solstice would be another one, equinox would be another one, etc. It can also be maybe you've attended a workshop or you've read a book, or you just feel as though something fundamentally is different, but you don't quite understand how to make sense of this new landscape that you're in. Maybe you feel as though there are growing skills and talents that you have within you, but you're not quite sure how to put them to use yet, or you haven't had an opportunity to put that new frequency to use and you're a bit nervous about doing so. Or you might be coming at it completely different, thinking, well, we've just gone through a portal, whatever that was, but I'm not feeling any different. And why is that? What have I done wrong? You haven't done anything wrong, is the first thing to say. But I'd like to answer these types of questions today. Thank you very much to everybody that took your time to write a question on my community tab yesterday. I asked a question. I basically said to you that I myself am feeling a huge energetic shift and I'm pivoting away from certain things and want to do some work which probably will become my life's work, and it's not something that is completely new anyway, but is very much about trying to serve you best in the way that I can, that is relevant, that is timely. What do you need help with? So I'm going to answer some of those questions today, but there were a lot of them, so it's going to take me a little while to get through them all. But I have read them all, thank you very much, and I will get to the subjects as soon as I can, and also in a divine timing moment as well, because if you understand the way the spirit works, you know that spirit will get behind a particular subject or a particular energy, and that's the best moment to talk about it because it's going to reach the most people. So don't feel as though I'm ignoring you if I haven't answered it yet. At some point it will come around and we will do that, okay? Right. Let's start off then with what's just happened 20 minutes ago, because it's a really good example of, okay, we feel as though there might be a new frequency in town. We may or may not be feeling as though we've had an upgrade. I do feel as though I've had an energetic upgrade. But then Spirit will always test you and throw a little grenade in to the mix to see how you cope. Now, it's not a fail to respond initially from a place of annoyance, maybe, or anger. The most important thing via energetic upgrade is that you're able to bring yourself back into a place of balance very quickly, because it's completely and utterly delusional to think that as a human being, you're never again going to be triggered. You're never again going to get upset over something or angry about something, especially if you live in modern society and not maybe on the top of a hill in a remote commune with one other person, although probably that would be a nightmare as well. So remember that. You're not failing just because you have a human emotion. It's how quickly you can transmute that and bring it back to a state of love. And then also send love and forgiveness and maybe get a degree of understanding in terms of why somebody has behaved as they are, as they just have. So no naming and shaming here, but I'm going to say what's just happened because it's a big, good teaching moment, and it's just happened now because I feel as I'm meant to say it. So those of you that follow me on Facebook and Instagram, you know that I had a bit of a wild day yesterday with all sorts of things happening and messages from spirit, including finding a plastic sword, i.e. King Arthur symbol, literally on my street. Anyway, that was one of the signs. But the other thing was that I felt the energy of Sinead O'Connor around me. And it came in about 2 hours after I'd put up that post on Community tab saying, love Heart Squad, we'll do Heart Squad again at some point, but right now not feeling as though I'm in a channeling space to do that type of work. What happens? Sinead knocks on the door energetically, and I felt her energy. So yeah, I'm going to be doing that at some point. Not today, not tomorrow, probably not even next week, although who knows, when you're in flow, you just do it in divine timing. But she's coming quite soon, and actually it comes on the back of a film that's out at the moment called Immaculate, which is to do with the Magdalene laundries and the abuse of children, of course, that happened in, was it Ireland or Northern Ireland, or probably both, probably all around the world. Anyway, okay, so I thought, well, yeah, we're going to bring Sinead through, and that is going to be a powerful moment of reckoning. Just went on to Instagram, and somebody basically said, this is where I got triggered. They said, why would you want to talk to somebody like that that committed suicide? Who would want to listen to that energy? Now, number one, it's not about whether she took her own life or not anyway. I think her death was ruled accidental death, so it wasn't recorded as suicide. And I know she doesn't want to talk about her death per se. She's more interested in talking about other things. But anyway, I thought, wow, this is somebody who's actually watched the video I've made. They're not a troll. They're somebody that's doing this work. They're doing readings and stuff, because I looked at their page, and they say that they're walking the talk. And they've just said that. And I was just flabbergasted. So I replied in a loving way, but a firm way. And I said, number one, there are people on my page who've lost children to suicide. How deeply insensitive. My grandmother herself, of course, took her own life. So it's a trigger for me. But equally, we can learn from people who've been in huge pain, can we not? Is that not part of the path? Is somebody who does that unworthy to be listened to? Of course not. 99.9% of you will answer back. Anyway, so I thought, okay, you're angry about that. Now you need to let it go. So what I did was I sprayed white light around myself. I came back into my heart. I sought out a crystal, and the one that I pulled out of my pot was mango calcite. Mango calcite is a very good crystal to just help you recenter, get back into your heart and get back into a state of peace. I then also was shown amethyst as a crystal, which opens up the crown again, which can close a little, not close, but it sort of retracts a little bit, if that's the right way, or contracts, goes in a bit, when we've been triggered. So you have to reopen it to allow that beautiful purple light to transmute that lower energy that you've just read or watched or whatever, and get back in touch with spirit, with yourself, with your higher self. So amethyst and something like mango calcite, white light, brilliant for just recentering you. But there are so many ways you can do it. Maybe just putting your hand on your heart, just reaffirming whatever you need to, love. And then Metatron came in and he said, the only reason she's actually even said that is because she's in fear. And then I realised how perfect it was. And I thank her for bringing that energy actually in today, because it's an important piece of this jigsaw. Fear of the unknown, okay? And many people, of course, are very fearful of death. They're fearful of the manner of death. They're fearful of things they don't understand. So I give genuine thanks to the person that brought that energy in. We will transmute it, but equally we will learn from it. Because isn't that what upgrades is all about? Maybe we might learn something from listening to somebody that we haven't ever paid attention to before, or we don't like, or there's something about them that we didn't agree with in life, etc., or even in death in this case. So Upgrades force us out of comfort zone, but upgrades also bring in great fear. Now, I'm going to tell you about my upgrade in a moment and some guidance that I've received from myself and you. But I want to just tell you about 3 cards from my Metatron deck, my Archangel Metatron deck. And I will just give a shout out to the 2 Oracle decks that I've made with Jane Delaford Taylor. One is an Archangel Metatron deck and the other one is a Christ Consciousness deck. Many of you have them, and thank you very much for purchasing them. But the point about them is that they are self-mastery decks. And their job, their intention is to basically be a tool for you to shuffle, for you to pick a card, pull a card, and it's as though, what is the message for me today? What is it that I need to be working on, or what is it that I'm being what is it that I'm being forced to look at? What skill am I honing, for example? So they are valuable tools to help us when we go through upgrades and portals, because it's a constant journey of self-mastery. And indeed, this morning, I'll come back to the cards in a moment, but I had to write this down. I was listening to an affirmations video. I'll try and link it below if I can re-find it. But one of the affirmations was, and I thought this was just so perfect, but so simple, but so beautiful. It was, I trust the journey of my life. I trust the journey of my life. I really think that's profound, because when we trust the journey of our life, we realise that whatever is in it, whoever is being sent our way, whether it be via a social media post, be it somebody that's knocking on your door, be it somebody that you're meeting in the street or at work or in your family, they're there for a reason. They're there to teach you something. And what upgrades do and portals do when we're walking through them and we're really receiving the gifts of them is we're getting a key to be able to master some of these qualities better in terms of how we respond to people, but equally how quickly we bring ourselves back into balance. So the 3 cards from Metatron linked into portals, the first won't surprise you, and these literally just fell out of the deck. This is the card of Gateway. It says Dimensional Gateway. It's card number 33, and it says Invitation. Okay, so at any portal, we are invited through a gateway. And this gateway, sometimes we think about it as an external thing with meditation or visualization, and we take ourselves through it. Whatever works for you is fine, really. The job gets done, whether it's an external thing that you imagine that you're walking through, or whether the gateway, of course, is within your heart, and you are just going through another what I call gateway, another chamber, another hidden chamber that is already within you. In the same way that when we expand our mind, we open up a pocket in our brain, we open up a pocket in our mind that is maybe unused, that we've never looked at before. We're stimulating maybe a new talent, a new ability, but it's like a muscle that has to be used to be, to better itself. So the first card is Dimensional Gateway. A portal is simply an invitation. You don't have to accept the invitation, although at collective level, of course, we do tend to have a big surge and the collective moves through the big portals. But there's always going to be stragglers at the back who are resisting it or ignoring it or denying it. Denial, of course, is a huge barrier to any portal upgrade. And in that, we remember the energy of Thomas with Jesus. Thomas, the doubting disciple, who had Jesus standing right in front of him, and he still didn't believe. He had to see the blood, where the nails had gone through, and then he believed. We're all a bit like that. We can all be like a doubting Thomas, but denial denies so much, okay? And it definitely denies us the full extent of the invitation. So Metatron's showing me, with regards to portal work, imagine it this way. You're invited to a banquet. So the banquet is symbolic of the gifts and the blessings that you can receive at the portal upgrade, but for whatever reason, you just sit down the far end of the banquet table. You don't maybe want to talk to anybody else. You only want to sample one thing that's on the table and nothing else, because the rest of the food looks a bit foreign and a bit strange. And I don't like that, and I don't eat this and all of that. This is all energy, guys, yeah? And of course, you miss out on the full extent of it. It's a really good analogy, actually, Metatron, that one. Whereas actually you're invited to the whole banquet to stay for the whole 10 courses, but most people don't. They don't even know the courses are there. So you're invited through, but the other card that came with it was Duality. So when you go through a portal, it's a dualistic moment. What he means by that is that shadow will arise, as will your light. So you're always going to get the tests that come in shortly after upgrade. Always, always, always. And the first horses fall at the first hurdle, the horse being you, which is basically, oh, I've had a test. I've still got so-and-so playing up. I've still got this issue. Still can't pay my bills, whatever it is. Oh, well, it's all failed. Let's just leave this banquet. What a load of crap. Nothing's changed. That didn't work. Oh, well. And then we can even go into like a victim type energy, which again is a huge barrier to blessings and abundance. So shadow will always come up. And what I was always taught, and this is a really good thing, is that when you get the test or the challenge that comes in straight after an upgrade, bless it. And what I mean by that is you know that it's coming. It's literally, we live in a dualistic universe. You can't have the upgrade without there being a balancing out of the darkness and the light. So it's going to show up some way. So what I do now is it's like, okay, it's like I can see it coming. Thank you. Okay, I see you. I've got you. And then it's almost as though whatever has to happen happens. Hopefully I respond in as loving a way as I can, go back into my center, but then know that test is over. It's almost as though, okay, now it's balanced. Now I can keep progressing and keep eating the next part of the banquet meal, knowing that trickery is not afoot. I'm not about to be poisoned by the food. Yeah? So that's a really interesting card. Also, this whole thing about balance needed in portals. Metatron's also saying this implies to our physical body. So it's normal that your physical body might have a bit of a wobble, and whatever your weak spot is, whether it be headaches, stomach aches. Of course, if you've got something physically wrong with you, go and see the doctor. But you know your body, hopefully, better than anybody else, if you're really in tune with it. It's normal just for the body to have a little bit of a wobble. So again, allow that, give it space and time to heal, and give it what it needs. So, for example, with me, I've really noticed that the more, for want of a better word, upgraded I get, I suppose, like many of you, the foods that I eat, I can't get away, basically, with some of the stuff I used to be able to get away with. And, you know, because I'm human, we slip back from time to time, don't we? So I was away recently and, you know, had a little bit of wine and a bit of sugar and all of the stuff that I'm trying to cut out. And I have largely cut out. But then when you reintroduce it, it's like reintroducing a fuel into your body that your body can no longer process, because your body's upgraded. It's like, what's that shit you're putting into me? You know, excuse my pronunciation or my language, but it's the truth. It's like, what is that? I don't want that. I now need something cleaner. So that's just one example. The third card that came out is the card of as above, so below. And this is very much linked into what we put out is what we get back, what we assume God, Spirit is going to give us, okay? And you've really got to reflect on this. You've really got to reflect on this. What am I actually expecting an upgrade or a portal to give me? And that's very much going to be in line with how you view the universe and God. Do you view the universe and God as a loving energy and presence? Or are you still in the energy of maybe hell and damnation? you know, and this world is a miserable place. This world is some prison planet. This world just full of evil and toxicity. And even though, yeah, it has got that, it's also got the most extraordinary beauty. Which one are you going to focus on? Because what you focus on grows. So I think those three cards together are quite powerful teaching in themselves. So if you've got the deck, have a look at that. The other thing, I'm going to read you now somebody's question that came in, and then I'm going to respond to it. So let me get this. So one of you asked, thank you for your question, by the way. This is somebody who felt like they didn't get the upgrade for whatever reason. So you say, I'm very new to this. I did not understand all the exaggerations around the eclipse. Right, let's just stop before we even get any further on that. Number one, this is what I mean when the spiritual community hypes up an event. And when are we going to learn that how useless that is? It's like people expecting the second coming the whole time. You know, it's going to be this year, or expecting just, you know, the spaceship to arrive above Mother Earth. It's got to be this year. We're always waiting for something. Everything's hyped. And we have to calm that all down. And when I did my eclipse video, the first thing I said, wasn't it, was that my job is here to calm it all down, because the stuff that was out there was so over the top in terms of what was going to happen on one day. On one day, even God required 7 days to create this earth. But oh no, you know, on one day, everything was going to change, and this was going to happen, and that was going to happen, and it was ridiculous. So be aware of that. And what I would like to say is, let's learn from it. You know, the people that were peddling that type of stuff, can we hold people accountable maybe? Or just don't listen again, you know, learn from it. Don't fall into the trap again. Because we've all been there and done it and worn the T-shirt, but we don't have to keep going back to the same T-shirt shop. Right, this is the message from one of you. I am very new to this. I did not understand all the exaggerations around the eclipse. I trust, sorry, Metatron's stopping me again. Right, he's saying, so this is somebody who's maybe newly awakened. So coming from a place of maybe greater innocence with regards to how the world is. When you're on your spiritual path for a while, you unfortunately wake up to a lot of the darkness that is in the world. But there's a balance, isn't there? Because this is somebody who's coming maybe from a more innocent state. And their reaction to the fact, why were people saying this and that and that? And it all just sounded crazy to me. They're closer to the truth of that than a lot of people who'd been on the spiritual path a lot longer, who fell for it all. Quite ironic. Anyway, let's repeat. I am very new to this. I did not understand all the exaggerations around the eclipse. I trusted that you said to relax and not to worry so much. But I also don't feel any differently now that it is over. So I'm presuming I simply did not get it or understand it. Seriously, what do I do to learn what I need to learn? Is all the silence from other people now because they ascended, or whatever they were talking about? Couldn't get an answer from anyone else, so hoping someone on this forum will tell me what is going on. Thank you for your question. This is when, you know, sometimes spiritual language gets too ungrounded, isn't it? And people start to think, we're back to 2012, where people were thinking that those of us that got the upgrade in 2012, we were just going to ascend from this earth and disappear. No, that was never going to happen. But again, it was hyped up. Right, I'm going to answer your question. Thank you for it. So, number one, you didn't do anything wrong. Okay, and you will have got it. I'm talking about the upgrade, even if you can't feel it. No, I'm not gaslighting you by saying that. Okay, Metatron's giving me this analogy. He's talking about understanding the way the subconscious mind works. So, for example, this morning I sat down doing my makeup and I was listening to affirmations on a video. I was awake. I could hear them. they were going into my they were going into my conscious mind, but probably also my subconscious. But I was awake to hear them, to receive them. I was responding to them. I was writing down the ones I thought were particularly good. I was making a note that I'm going to come back to this. This is good stuff. I'm going to try and put into practice what some of these affirmations are suggesting that I could do. Yeah? So I got it. But the truth is that I could go to sleep tonight and put that same video on with the affirmations, be totally unaware that it was even playing because I'm snoring my head off. Not that I snore too badly. But it would be going into my subconscious. It would be reprogramming me, even though I didn't realize it was reprogramming me, until I then respond in a different way at some point in the future. And that could be to anything. And sometimes you don't even understand, you don't see the link between the fact maybe, I don't know, you've been more polite or nicer or kinder based on maybe what you've been listening to. And you might even have been asleep. It's like when I do meditations, most people go to sleep. It doesn't mean that it hasn't worked. It actually means it's going in at a much deeper level because it's hitting your subconscious. And at some point, all it takes is for something to trigger that subconscious memory. And it's like we're activated. It's activated. So what Metatron's saying to you and to others who feel as though they didn't get anything is he's saying a seed has been planted. For example, this eclipse, a seed was planted in everybody. It's now whether we water it and whether we acknowledge it's even there. Do you know, on the subject of seeds and not even being aware that things are happening, I've got a balcony. We have had nothing but gales, rain, wind, storms. It's been a very wet winter, harsh winter. My house, the bricks are looking all crumbly and, it needs attention, the house. I've got a plant on my balcony. I've not given, I'm sorry to say this, I feel terrible now. I've given no attention to for about a year. To be honest, I thought it was dead and it's just, I haven't bothered to bring it back down to, recompost it. It's sprung into blossom. This thing that looked totally dead, I've given no attention to whatsoever, has sprung into blossom. So I didn't actually do that. Now, I know I'm contradicting myself because I just said you need to water the seeds, and I do believe that. But I equally believe that God can water the seeds as well. There was something in that seed itself that was strong, that germinated, that wanted to come to life. Okay? So it's within you, is the first thing I want to say. You haven't missed it. And you may very well find at some later date you're responding in a different way and you don't even realise it's linked into the eclipse. Okay? Because we expect instant manifestation. That's a human thing. We all do it. It's like, there's been an eclipse. How do I feel? Am I different? What was different for me about this eclipse and this particular portal is I genuinely did feel pretty different within about 48 hours. And I've talked about this a little bit on my social media. I'll bring you up to speed with that in a moment. But I also want to just tell you something which I was given by Metatron in answer to your question. This is an honest question for all of us. I didn't get anything. I don't feel any different. The honest question, and only you can answer it, and there's no judgment, is what did you do what did you do to receive the blessing of this eclipse? What I mean by that is, did you create space in your weekend, in your day, to receive the blessing? Or were you sort of, whatever reason, closed? Okay? Had you opened up your energy to receive? Had you sat? We live in a society 24/7, go, 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 fast, 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 demands here, responsibilities here, duties here. I get it. I'm not asking us to sit 24 hours in silence to receive. I certainly didn't do that. But did you create maybe a little, a grid within your home? Did you sit in meditation? Did you journal? What did you do? Did you have a healing? Did you have a meditative walk in the park by the sea? Did you contemplate? Did you create space for it? Is the first thing. Okay. The other passage that I was given this morning, which is actually from the Bible, it's from Luke 6:38, is this. It says, I heard, so shall you give, so shall you receive. What I mean by this, I'll read the long passage in a minute, is we live in a universe which is about giving and receiving. What we give is what we receive back. I'm starting to learn more and more that the more that we give from a humble heart, and this is selfless service, this is humble service. Doesn't mean you've got to have a YouTube channel, doesn't mean you've got to be a healer. It can be anything. It can be how we walk the talk, what we're doing day in, day out to help others, whether it's people in our family, whether it's our neighbours, whether it is a cause that's close to our heart, etc. This is the passage. It says, give and it shall be given unto you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, with no space left for more. For with the standard of measurement you use, when you do good for others, it will be measured to you in return. Right, now what I've written down here is this is where we need to be honest about ourselves and what goes on in our mind that only you know. Because the truth is we can give, but we can have an attitude of, oh, have it then. Or, I'm here, aren't I? You know, I've shown up, haven't I? I'm here to do your shopping, aren't I? You know, you're here again, aren't you? I've done your washing, haven't I? Can you feel the energy behind that? Which isn't really heartfelt. You have given, yeah, you have shown up. You have created some space in your diary for that person. But is it heartfelt? And in the same way in business, for example, I know before I went away on holiday, I did those 3 videos for you because I wanted to have an offering for my community when I was away. I did them from a genuine, humble heart space. I'm not trying to big myself up here, but I did. I'm only saying this looking back on it. And this thing about, so what did I receive in return? If that had been in my mindset, so what am I going to receive in return? How many views did they get? How many people gave me a tip? How many people subscribed to the channel? Or feeling hard done by, I've got all this work to do because I can't leave my channel and not have any videos, that type of thing. Can you feel how crass and abrasive that energy is? And it's the total opposite to what I'm trying to convey here, which is, so shall you give, so shall you receive. Yeah? Doing it from a humble heart. Now, this other thing is also about, it's not just about giving in the right way. It's about the way we ask and the way that we receive. The way that we ask for something. So, how did you ask, basically? What did you expect? How did you ask? What did you give? And I don't just mean in the 24 hours before the eclipse. This is a cumulative rolling stone type energy. This is the deal of walk the talk. I'm not saying that people that don't feel any different aren't givers. It's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying let's keep doing it, because humbleness is actually about not expecting anything in return. The amazing gift and blessing that comes in when we suddenly do have a moment, it's like, God, I really do feel quite different. And wow, thank you. Is such a beautiful thing. And I honestly look back on my path, my spiritual path and my life, and the moments where I can honestly hand on heart say, wow, I really do feel different via that upgrade. It's always come in pretty unexpectedly. It's never come in because it's 9 o'clock, the moon is full. Bring it on. Why am I not feeling it? No, it doesn't. We're blocking it, aren't we? We're blocking it because the way we're asking and what we're expecting, it's all wrong. So we have to go back all of the time to this humble heart energy. But this thing about ask, I'm just going to give you another illustration. Again, it's a YouTube illustration, but I have to give these examples because it's who I am, okay? If I was selling fish, I'd give you examples about that. But anyway, the thing about asking, okay, so I've asked, what would people like me to read on? And I've taken note of it. Thank you very much. And I will do my best. But a few months ago, I said I was going to do a video on autism. Well, I still might. But I've had haranguing from some people about this. Literally haranguing. Hassle. It's like pressure, pressure, pressure. When are you going to do it? Have you done it yet? Even one of you on the community tab, you were like, I keep checking back on your channel. It's just all royal stuff. When's the autism video coming? Can you just feel how that might feel to receive that? Does that put me into a state where I actually want to give from my heart? No, not really. So is that not a reflection at macro level of what we do to God? It's like, give me. I've earned it. I expect it. I want it. I need it now. Well, I'm sorry, but we don't tend to receive when we're in that type of energy. People don't want to do, but yeah, you know what I'm getting at. So it's about how we ask for stuff, all right? It's about what we're doing, the Rolling Stone type energy, and it's also about how we receive. And I think I've covered that with regards to denial, okay? We can receive it, but you're at the banquet and you're still denying you're even there. You really are expecting it Cinderella time. The clock's about to strike midnight and you're about to turn back into rags. Okay, right. I'm going to go back to a few of your questions. Let's do that now, actually. I've basically just photoed 5 of them, so let's see how many we can get through. So I hope I've answered your question there. I will just say as well, is all the silence from other people now because they ascended? No, it's because they're probably on to the next thing. It was hyped up, okay? It was hyped up, a lot of people for views as well. Right, that's not to say there isn't an amazing shift though, if we're in the right attitude to receive it. Right, this is another side of the coin. This lady says, I've chopped off your name, sorry. I have felt a positive shift through the recent potent energy, a culmination point, creating further peace and healing after what feels like a never-ending enforced energetic pause. So what next? How can we best collectively use this new energy to serve? Thank you, Amanda. I had a dream that you were driving a car and I was in the back. It was vivid and profound because it showed me you have something to say that for me personally is worth listening to. I had a strong sense you are a leader. I'm pleased you are stepping away from the media timeline for your gifts and insights. Right. Okay, so how can we best serve? My answer to that is with no expectation. It literally is about showing up every day and saying to Spirit, how best can I serve? And if we have that intention, Spirit will put us in front of the right people. We will be put in the right places. It's the energy of flow. So I really like your question because it's coming from an honest place. How can we best collectively use this new energy to serve? Imagine if, as a collective, we all turned up every day and just said, how may I serve? Imagine if every time we met a new person, it was, how may I serve? Yeah? Imagine if we went into a new place, how may I serve? How may I be of service? Yeah? Sometimes it's obvious things. Obviously, this weekend we've got the war drums beating, Israel, Iran. How may I serve? How may I serve for me in that instance is I'm not going to get into a slanging match in terms of who's right, who's wrong, whose side I'm on. I'm just going to bring love and peace into that whole situation. How may I serve? Yeah? What would Jesus do? It's that type of energy, isn't it? So thank you for that question. Someone says, please tell me why I'm getting so tired. I believe it's the energetic nature of the eclipse and alignment of the planets. But to make sure it's nothing malfunctioning in myself, I'm getting a physical. Good for you, Diane. Yes, absolutely. Rule out any medical things that might be going on. But equally, yeah, through portals, we get, the Schumann resonance has been off the scale recently. That affects us as human beings. Solar flares affect us as human beings. There are many things that are affecting us as human beings that are happening in nature right now. But I also want to say something other than that as well in a moment. But I want to just tell you a download I got this morning with regard to the grey skies that we have in many places at the moment. Don't want to get into the whole debate in this video. I might come to it in another video about why we have grey skies all the time. Many of us can guess. But anyway, put it this way, if you believe in weather modification and that's what's going on, and there is it is gloomy to wake up to yet another grey sky day. To be honest, I saw a bit of blue sky for the first time recently, and it was literally like, oh my God, blue sky. And it was I really appreciated it and blessed it. But this was the download I got from Spirit this morning with regard to that. We know how powerful Mother Earth is, do we not? We know that Mother Earth, if she really wanted to, could just literally, like I've used this analogy before, like a dog who's got fleas and like shrugs them and just they fly off. She could do that to us very easily, but she chooses not to. She could do that via earthquakes, landslides, tidal waves. I mean, that does happen, of course, but I'm talking at a huge level. If she wanted us gone, we would be gone, okay? Because Mother Earth is the most powerful sentient being on this planet. We couldn't survive if we weren't on her. So do you really not think that she has it within her power to be able to clear the skies if she wished to? In the same way she could clear her rivers and her oceans if she wished to. She will do what she needs to do with any of the elements. The elements are all powerful. So bless the wind, bless the gales that can push the clouds away, for example, that can bring the break of blue in. Anyway, I don't know how I got onto all of that, but that just came in. Oh, yeah, it was this question. Right, let's go back to the question. Oh, tiredness. Okay, so yeah, it can be due to the weather. We know that. My video on From 5G to 5D is very helpful. It's literally called From 5G to 5D. If I remember, I'll link it below or remind me in the comments, because that is my attitude to a lot of these things that are occurring in our world, that basically remember that you are a powerful transmuter in the same way that Gaia is a powerful transmuter. But back to this lady being tired. So over and above that, the other thing I think about tiredness, and I've noticed within myself, is that I'm often most tired. I've noticed it can be boredom. Not always, of course. Sometimes I am just physically tired. And yes, it can be linked into things that are going on in the body. But boredom, there's a malaise in our world. I was watching a video with, who was it? It was somebody like Stephen Bartlett. He was interviewing somebody. I can't remember who it was. But this guy was talking about, these that we all have. And the generation now, the younger generations who've traded in, this is really poignant, who've traded in living a life to watching other people live a life. And actually what you're even watching on these phones isn't reality anyway, because people put the best bits of themselves on social media. Why do I bring that into the equation? Because I just think it's part of the dumbing down. I don't quite know what we do about it, guys. I guess we have to just switch these off from time to time and go back out into the mountains or the sea or the park or your towns, engage in life again with the attitude of how may I serve. But yeah, I think tiredness can be linked into boredom as well. So what do we do about that? I mean, in many ways, it's this message, passion for life. We have to find what makes us feel passionate again. What is it that you're passionate about? We've got the gold cup of replenishment here as well. What's going to replenish you? What is it? Is it a musical concert? Is it at a football match? Is it playing golf? Is it, I don't know, cooking? Is it somebody? Is it animals? Is it hiking? I don't know what it is. But finding something that we're passionate about. Because most people, the sad truth is most people are most passionate about this. And that is sad. I mean, I use it too. You know, we're all addicted to a degree, but we have to wean ourselves off that. And I really think it's part of being free like the bird. This is the time of year when my videos get full of seagulls, so no apologies for that. Right, let's go to another question. So I hope that answered you. Okay, somebody mentioning ear upgrades, mine being stuffy. Yeah, it can affect your ears. That usually is a alter major issue, I've found. Alter major is the chakra in the hollow of your neck here. We do have a teal alter major spray with star anise in it, which is very good for helping to open that up. I talked about sinuses feeling a bit blocked recently. I found it like that. I also, things like mucus, maybe an upsurge of that, although we're into allergy season again. But again, that's a way for the mucus is a way for the body just to get rid of old energies and toxins as well. Somebody else saying feeling it in their stomach, stress in the stomach. Okay, let me read this comment from one of you, Gypsy717. Wonderful. So you want to know about stepping into our power, cultivating our voices for the greater good of all. Physical symptoms, mainly stomach, stress, but what are the messages within? Yeah, absolutely. You know, I always check in with what is my body trying to tell me? What if I'm feeling, congested here or croaky here at my voice? What is the message of that? Why is my stomach feeling upset? Why have I got a headache? And again, it comes into sometimes accountability, I have to say. 9 times out of 10, when I've got a headache, it's usually because I haven't drunk enough water, I haven't eaten properly the day before, maybe I haven't slept well. And again, sleep is a huge area. Maybe we'll do a video on sleep if you'd like me to. But again, you have to, sleep hygiene is important. You know, let's again be honest with ourselves. Have we made the room as cool as we can? Have we allowed ourselves an hour to switch off from this before we go to bed so we haven't got all the blue light coming at us? Have we maybe tried to calm our body down, whether it be via something like mango calcite, a nice milky drink or whatever it is that does it for you? Have we looked at the deficiencies in our body? Are our magnesium levels okay, for example? Take responsibility rather than sometimes it's just like, oh, I can't sleep. I mean, I'm like it as well. You know, in a few months I'll be moaning because it'll be too hot in the loft. Yes, there are reasons why sometimes we can't sleep, but we can also help ourselves, okay? Help ourselves. Right. Let's have one last question. Okay, so Stephanie Sullivan. Hi, Amanda. To let go of people with love and starting over at 50 in June. I mean, like a total overhaul, new friends that become family, career and love. Okay, and then someone else, Lisa, asks about family dynamics. My understanding is this eclipse is having the truth come out, and I just got hit with a big one today from family. So I'm definitely in it at the moment. Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. I'll try to answer both of you, but Lisa, family dynamics, shaking up of dynamics. Is it a shaking up of dynamics, or is it just being able to see something that we've put the blindfold on and haven't wanted to look at for a while? I think it could be that as well. I'll tell you a little bit about, this is a very, very brief summary because I don't want people switching off who already follow me on other channels, but just like a 2-minute catch up for those of you that haven't seen what I've been saying the last week. So post-eclipse, one of the things that was manifesting for me was an energy of I'm just not doing this anymore. I'm not doing this anymore in relation to a particular relationship which was out of balance. Okay, so I'm just not doing this anymore. I'm not putting up with this anymore. Why should I? You know, and it made me realize it's all to do with the energy of takers and givers. So if you have an example of a relationship in your life or a connection in your life where, you know, there's a taker and maybe you're a giver, Of course, the giver will just keep on giving and the taker will keep on taking. And yes, there are reasons sometimes as to why this happens, but I definitely feel as though a line in the sand, I can't do this anymore. It's more, I can't do this anymore. It's to my own detriment now to such a large degree. I've tried everything. I'm not doing this anymore. So the energy of highlighting that. And then I also talked about the fact that it became apparent to me that when we draw a firmer boundary with these people, that what they often do is, I described it as they'll go to the next petrol pump. They'll find somebody else to take from, effectively. It's like energy siphoning. So you've been giving and giving and giving and thinking maybe you're the only one that can do it or the only one that will do it. But make no mistake, when the energy source gets cut off from the person, they will find somebody else or something else to fill them up, basically. And it can happen very, very quickly. And the person that I was talking about in my life, I suddenly realised that, gosh, Amanda, 2-3 decades ago, do you not remember that when this person who takes a lot, when they actually, I'm just going to say, when they met somebody else, how quickly they suddenly didn't need you. You know, it was literally, I just remember, it was like, whoa, I'm really not needed. I actually remember feeling almost like quite redundant, quite like, oh, this is actually, it's a bit off. It's a bit off. You never want to see me now. You never want my help. And it's because they'd got another supply. So that's been happening for me as well. But Lisa's point here about changes in family dynamics, the truth coming out. Let's pull a couple of cards on that. Let's see what we get. So Metatron, what is there to say? The truth coming out. Can be uncomfortable truths. Oh, okay, the first thing he's saying is, what are you going to do with that truth? What are you going to do with it? Are you just going to sit with it? Or are you actually going to change your behaviour? Something has to give, basically. Let me just pull a card. So family dynamics with the truth coming out. Letting go. Letting go. Time for release. The truth is, there are people in our life that we might be letting go of. Not in all circumstances. In my case, it's more like what I'm being shown. It sounds a really horrible way to put it, but it's the only way I can explain it. It's like a dog leash, okay? It's like being given more, not rope to hang yourself with, but just, I can't really explain it. It's as though someone's had me on the end of a leash. It's like, you know, jump and I'll just, and how high? It's that type of thing. Jump and how high? What do you need now? Of course I'll go and get it. Of course I'll do this, to my own detriment the whole time. And it's as though it feels like I've been let off the leash. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like you can have your freedom. We had that card from the Christ deck, the open door. You can have your freedom. But equally, you can't let go of all your responsibilities and duties, of course. And you still have to be, for example, an honourable daughter, etc. Because that's a heart-centred path. You don't abandon people that need you, but it's about trying to find a little bit more freedom, having a bit more room to manoeuvre, which basically is a boundary thing. It's a boundary thing. But we have got the card of letting go. So my circumstances, not all of your circumstances. Some of you will be being required to let people go. This could also be that some of the soul contracts are complete or coming near to completion. So some of these relationships we've been struggling with the most, it could be a natural passing time for some as well. Not for everybody, but for some. We have the card of Kundalini awakening, which is what's happening in us. It's like untapped energy. This is upgrade energy. What do I do with it now? We have the card of fly free. And we have the card of, not boundaries. I've got boundaries on the brain. This is the card of priorities. Exactly. I've got a little bit more freedom. I've put a boundary down. I've said no. Am I allowed to say no? Yes, you are allowed to say no sometimes. What happens if I say no? Does the whole world end? No, it doesn't, because they find another petrol pump. So what do I now do with that freedom? Do I just wander aimlessly, round and round in circles, scrolling my phone? No. We have to look at priorities, building blocks for life. What's important to me now? What's important to me now? What do I do with this extra time, for example, or extra headspace? It doesn't have to be time. It's more headspace. What do I do with the extra headspace? It feels as though the seagull was just wanting to say well done to us all there. Anything else I want to say in this video? Let's just find one more question. This is a nice one from Coofoot Hills. Please consider a video regarding willpower, getting over addictions, any type, mourning and grief, societal and personal, and what these upgrades will actually do for us in the way of communicating our preferences and needs. Right, I'm going to go to the last bit of that, because the whole thing about willpower, I'm going to do a video soon on that. It won't be called willpower, but it will be themed around health and life changes. Anyhow, what these upgrades will actually do for us in the way of communicating our preferences and our needs, that it's okay to do so, that it's okay for us to be able to express our needs. There's a pretty battered inner child energy coming up to be healed. The child that can be seen but not heard, that your feelings, your needs somehow are of a lesser requirement. And sometimes this has come in the parent-child relationship. Those of us that have had parents whereby the roles have been reversed, that we've been our mother's mother, for example. That's a pattern of, that's a huge subject. It's a big part of probably my future work at some point I will talk about. But it's the child that has felt as though it hasn't been able to express itself, that hasn't been able to fly free. There's an energy coming up post-portal, which is that you can live your life. You can say what you need to say. Finding your feet very tentatively, though. It's early days. Early days. Right, I'm just going to go to my channel again and have a look at what the last question is that came in and see what that one is. Let's go for it. Right. Thank you for listening, everybody. Do help each other out in the comments as well in terms of what you've been experiencing, how you've been feeling. I hope what I've said today has helped. I'd love you to do a reading, tune into energies on how to remain in 5D frequently, what we need to keep practicing. You see, I really feel I've answered that, Bernie, in the 2 oracle decks that I've created, self-mastery decks. How to remain in 5D frequency. Literally, we could split the Metatron deck at any point and we would come up with something to work on and something to master that's going to help us step into 5D. So please do look at my decks, because I genuinely believe they are very powerful tools to assist at this time. Oh, this is interesting. Greetings from Australia. I had a dream last night that Amanda was asking this question in person to a whole group of people. I wonder if this was in astral. You see, that's what I was saying. Even when we're not aware of something, if we're linked into something, we're getting it. Back to this whole thing about I didn't feel any different. This lady didn't even know I'd asked the question on YouTube about what do you want me to look at, but yet she got it in dream state because it happened in the astral. It's all there. It's a case of just pulling it down. And then people block it straight away with, but how do I do that? How do I pull it down? None of this stuff is difficult. God didn't make it difficult. God made it simple. It's just a case of pausing, stopping and asking to receive, and then trusting that it is so. And the most surprising thing, as I said at the start, is that then at some point, whether it's this week, whether it's today, whether it's next month, whether it's in 2 months' time, you're going to respond in a different way. And you'll be like, whoa, that person usually triggers me. Or maybe they still did, but I came back into balance much quicker. I will just tell you something which is quite interesting about how sometimes we're going to be forced to come back into our heart quicker. I've been talking about 20-mile-per-hour zones on my social media recently, and I met my MP who's very against it in the post office yesterday, and then I found the plastic sword, and it's all very much Knights of the Round Table type stuff, standing up for a cause. Anyhow, why am I talking about this? 20-mile-per-hour zones. Oh, yeah, because one of the things Spirit gave me was, I know this has come into some of your cities already, but I live in a very congested part of the UK because it's a tourist hotspot. There's quite an old population that lives here, and a lot of them do drive already at 20 miles per hour. And I have to say, even myself, and I like to think I'm not completely at the start of my spiritual journey, but I can get really triggered behind some of these people sometimes, especially if you've got somewhere to go, and you're in a 40 mile per hour zone, and like, why are you doing 20? And there's a whole stack of traffic behind you, and you can just feel the red mist. Well, imagine that multiplied God knows how many times. Everyone has to do 20. And I just got shown by Spirit this rising red mist, this people having to own their anger, basically, is what I'm talking about. Because if everyone's in their little bubble of their car feeling it, what do we do with that? I mean, either we have just like a huge explosion of anger, which is the other thing that can happen, or hopefully, because I always look at the higher timeline, maybe it will just bring it to the fore. My God, I didn't know I had this rage within me. I didn't know that. What is this about? And then to try to heal that. But yeah, we'll get on to 20 mile per hour and 15-minute cities in another video. I have strong opinions on that one. Right, let's have one more question because we have done an hour. One more question, why not? Let's see what else we've got. Someone's quoting Jimi Hendrix with regards to family dynamics. The love of power versus the power of love. The love of power versus the power of love. Yeah, that's just something for us to ponder on, I think. The love of power versus the power of love. That's nice, isn't it? That's beautiful. Someone else is saying, I'm just feeling everything lately. That's okay. That's okay. We are going to go through the full spectrum of emotion quicker, is what I want to say. Have you noticed how things are moving through quicker? It's okay to feel tearful. It's okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel frustrated, but it's moving through it. It's when you get stuck in it, that's when the problem is. That's when the problem is. That's when we're not in flow. That's when we're in stagnation. So what can we do to free ourselves when we're in a place where we're just feeling stuck? Breathe, count to 10, go for a walk, know that this too shall pass. Get your medicine bag out. And I mean that in all seriousness. What is the medicine bag? It's your bag of tools. Within that can be anything. It can be affirmations. It can be sprays. It can be crystals. It can be books. It can be poetry. It can be music. It can be Tai Chi. It can be movement. It can be whatever helps get you through the night, okay? As the Beatles sang. I think I will end this video just by showing you 2 sprays that I've got sitting on my desk because I wanted to bring them in and haven't, but they sum up a lot of what we've been talking about. Number 1, Archangel Metatron, Cosmos Elemental. The cosmos mirrors you. The universe mirrors you. What are you expecting the universe to deliver today? What are you expecting the universe to deliver via a upgrade? What are you expecting the universe to deliver via a portal? So many people were expecting horrible things to happen with this latest eclipse. And yes, there was a lower timeline there, and I did talk about that in my video, but I also brought through a higher timeline as well. and showed how we could transmute the lower one. So very important to remember, the cosmos always mirrors us. Let's just spray this. And it's also beautiful lavender light. Lavender, you see, and that colour, lilac, lavender, whatever you want to call it, brings balance. It brings us back into balance. So we need to constantly be bringing ourselves back into balance, in the same way that breath brings the body back into balance, in the same way that sweat and perspiration bring your body back into balance. Okay, so beautiful one there. And it also says expand. So it goes with the flower of life type energy, that give yourself permission to expand through any portal. That's what I meant by the leash and the dog. It's like, give yourself permission to be let off the leash. We walk Bella down the park, and there's some dogs, and they're not vicious dogs, they're just nervous owners. I can see they are, and they never let their dog off. And it's like, let the dog off. It just wants to run free for a bit. Let it go and sniff the grass. Cock its leg against the tree. Let it do what it wants to do. It's like, no, I can't let this dog off. Anyway, so that's one. Cosmos, expand. Allow yourself to expand. Be in a state of, what can this new upgrade bring me, even if you're not feeling it. Okay, even if you're not feeling it, get into a state of expansion. And yes, that is a choice. You can either contract or you can expand. There's times for both, but right now it feels as though we're in an expansive phase. The other spray that's really good through this type of portals is this one. It's the Rainbow Ray. It's Archangel Metatron. It is upgrade and expansion spray. It does what it says on the tin. It helps to bring the full rainbow light into the body. And light is the thing that your body needs when it's in an expanded state. Okay, so imagine your wings and just reach out with them. Allow them to expand. Allow your aura to expand. Allow your not your waistband, allow your wings to expand, allow your aura to expand, allow your sense of humour to expand, allow your mind to expand, allow yourself to expand. Allow yourself to expand. It feels so joyful, that spray. It feels beautiful because you're playing with the whole rainbow. The whole rainbow. Not just one colour, the whole rainbow. The whole rainbow, how amazing is that? Let's have another bit of it. Rainbow Ray, upgrade and expand. Why would you not, is what Metatron is saying. Why would you not? Why would you not? And if your mind's straight away blocking with that, but I can't because of this, go into your heart. Go into your soul. Your soul will say, why not? That's why I came. Even in circumstances in your life that are difficult and challenging, and it's like, I can't expand. I'm a carer. I'm this, I'm that. You can still expand in terms of your consciousness. While I'm learning from this experience, wow, the gratitude, the depth of this experience. How courageous am I? How brave am I? How much gratitude I have for myself that I can do this, that I can give this. That's also expanse. I heard somebody today say that thank you is one of the best things that we can say, because it shows that we're in a state of gratitude, obviously, but also that we need each other and that we need everything that happens in our life. Everything is there as an opportunity to expand. Thank you for this opportunity to expand my heart, to expand my compassion, to expand my wisdom, to expand my understanding of myself, to expand my understanding of another. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Metatron's now lightening it up as well and saying the other thing about portals is it's a bit like they're a bus. It's a bit like a bus. There'll always be another one coming. And it's true. There'll always be another one coming. You can't miss it because they're ever evolving. They're ever happening. I hope that helped. Lots of love. I think my next video is going to be a twin flame, because definitely could feel movement with twin flame, and lots of you were asking for that. But I'm also going to look at your messages, okay, and see what else I can do. I'm going to leave you with a message from the Christ Consciousness cards. Let's see. Faith over fear. How many times has this card come up? How many times has this card come up? And it's Jesus saying, you can cope. You can do it. It's within you. And in relation to what we've been talking about today, upgrades, portals, all that light coming into the boat. Look at it. All the light on the boat coming into the boat, even though there's a storm going on. But the disciples couldn't see it because they were just focused on their fear, on their limitation. Jesus reminded them, you can cope. You have everything that you need. You have the light. Lots of love, everyone. Take care. I'll be back soon. I've got to now go off and buy shoes for my daughter with my daughter. And rather than thinking, oh gosh, I've got lots of other things I should be doing. No, how wonderful that my daughter wants me to go with her to buy shoes. And so that's what we're going to do this afternoon. Hope you have a good weekend. Remember about amethyst and mango calcite for helping us to open our crown and calm down when we've been triggered, and to go back into our heart space. Check out the cards, check out the sprays I've mentioned, but above all else, check out yourself and how great you are. Lots of love. Bye-bye for now. Bye.